I am so sick of the world telling us women that we can be presidents, CEOs, and in high-power positions just like the men can.
America, what is so bad about wanting to be a doormat for a man? I thought it was my body, my choice.
Tradwife content is increasing in popularity as, on the outside, it looks lovely being taken care of. Not having a single care in the world besides making dinner and hanging out with the kids. Except this life only really pertains to the small percentage of tradwives. Those who either already have an established career, in which if there ever is a case where they're left for somebody younger, hotter, they've got a backup plan. Or their men usually have a high-paying, luxurious job which allows them to lead a tradwife life in all its glory. The worst part is the influencers who perpetuate this tradwife lifestyle have already protected themselves with safety nets, money that the general housewife who doesn't work doesn't have, or at least has very limited access to. In the best case scenarios, these tradwives also have trad husbands alongside with them and aren't being just taken for a spin by selling young girls this lie of you just have to find the perfect man and he'll make all of these dreams come true is truly disturbing. What many of these people don't tell you is they have to tolerate a lot to lead this false narrative. The tradwife life dream isn't going to become as true as Nara Smith's because, well, social media is saying that Nara is a tradwife, but technically, how could that be? Being both a model and influencer, both careers, making an exceptional amount of money. And where did this discourse come about of Nara Smith being a tradwife? Because she makes homemade Oreos? Yeah, you'd wish that is all there is to a tradwife life. Personally, I don't hate tradwives. We all have free will and what we choose to do with it is our own journey. But the toxic tradwife cosplaying influencers who are selling this idea to give yourself up for a life that isn't promised, you've got no qualifications for anything and you have to wholeheartedly rely on a man for everything. Because I'd argue that that's what we need to be focusing on instead of a woman making homemade cookies.
I'm teaching my daughter that it's perfectly acceptable to depend on a man, that being a homemaker is the #1 career she should strive for, and that serving her husband and bearing children will be her greatest joy.
So, willfully disregarding to teach your daughter independence, something that they will desperately need as they grow up, but to instead encourage codependency and set your daughter up for future disasters is a red flag parenting style, and I refuse to believe otherwise. In teaching your daughter to rely and depend on a man with every ounce of her being, she will unfortunately have to find out the hard way. Meaning, if and ever she gets into a relationship that turns to be abusive, what she's been taught by good old mummy will make it very hard for her to be able to leave. She'll have no other choice but to rely on an abusive person for money, food, shelter, because blindly trusting people is what she is being taught. Being taught to depend on an individual that can leave you with nothing but the clothes on your back is a very dangerous game to play. It shouldn't be just acceptable to depend on really anybody, even a man. But let's talk about the being a homemaker is the #1 career she should strive for part, because no, she should not. If that is something that this person's daughter chooses in the future when she is a consenting adult, that is her journey and her journey alone. The fact you're not encouraging your daughter to live her true, authentic life, but instead what you think she should do, tells me that you're so deep into the source you don't even know what you're saying. You can't say that serving serving her phantom future husband and being pregnant will be her greatest choice because she's 4 years old with not even a fully formed opinion yet. Many women were once in this woman's daughter's position, having ideas forced on them that their only life's purpose is to be a doormat for a man, that there's truly nothing out there in life for you than just that, and it's nothing but blatant lies. I don't care how trad you live, we've come way past the 50s.
Ever noticed that everything modern feminism promotes leaves women unhappy and unfulfilled? Hormone-disrupting birth control, promiscuity, working stressful 9-to-5 jobs, not getting married or having children.
This influencer who promotes the typical trad wife life and how modern day women are just degenerates actually had an adult page of her own in 2020. And there is nothing wrong with that. Hold your horses, because as long as you're not being exploited, you're not being taken advantage of, and everything you're doing is on your own terms, you're consenting to it, I support it. I love that for you. But what I take issue with is that she's constantly hating on women who have ultimate freedom, which is the truest form of feminism. Taking birth control because we want to enjoy sex, but don't want the possibility of getting pregnant, because if we do get pregnant, then it's our fault. We're told we're disgusting if we don't want the damn thing, hence taking birth control, and then even that's bad. So by your own logic, would that mean that men are only allowed to enjoy sex? I'm sorry, but everybody deserves the enjoyment of human nature. So, working 9-to-5 stressful jobs. Sweetheart, you're talking to the entire population here. And not getting married or having children, last time I checked, none of that is in the guidelines of being a true feminist. You really have to wonder if these kinds of women went out and met a subscriber from their adult page, and these dudes have just spewed out the most misogynistic anti-SJW YouTube compilation bullshit because finally they have some woman that'll listen to them, when it's like nobody says that shit. Nobody, I promise you. In fact, it's encouraged heavily to do what makes you happy, saying that yes, you can do the same things as men because we're all equal, idiot! If it's not in your journey having kids or getting married, then that is awesome. Just like how it's awesome that you're on TikTok spreading desperately about how happy you are when really? Are you really that happy, sweetheart? Feminism is rooting for you, babe. I know that'll probably give her the ick, me saying that, even though she's hating on what served her at one point. Just saying.
I used to really be into politics, but now I just relax while my husband tells me what to think.
That has got to be the dumbest shit that I have read in a while. This is a very rare occasion of drama queen advice, but please do not base your entire identity off of an individual who is most likely only looking out for themselves and their best interests. Even further, being told what to think by one individual is insane. Congratulations on being willfully ignorant. You can love and trust somebody with your entire being, but you have your own brain and you have your own thoughts. I don't know, but promoting literal brainwashing is wild to me. There's one thing being a trad wife and you're staying at home with the kids because you want to raise them, and you're taking care of your husband who is a traditional husband who's taking care of you. But there's another thing where you're acting like his dog. But if that's your journey, so be it. What I can't seem to wrap my head around is how untrad it is to be a TikTok influencer when you've got this whole I'm being taken care of by my man, modern day women are stupid and they're serve men with no questions asked kind of shtick. It's getting very old and it's getting very tired. I am yawning throughout this process. Once again, I have no problems with people wanting to lead the trad wife life, but cut the bullshit. It's 2024, not 1954. And look, I don't don't care how bad you want to skin yourself to make into a coat for your husband, but women aren't just here on earth to get pregnant and serve men. People are many things. People aren't supposed to do just one thing or the other. The beauty of being a human is choice, something that y'all are trying to take away from people. But what happens when all goes south when you thought it was heading in the right direction? One woman is going viral for just that. How her trad wife life fell apart and what life is after the fact.
If you are a young 14, 16, 21-year-old girl, listen up. I drove to the grocery store. I need to grab some milk and bread and a couple things, flipped open the bank app on my phone, and I've been sitting in my car crying ever since because I never have enough money. And why do I never have enough money? Because when I was a 19-year-old girl, I fell in love. My Mormon faith told me that I was supposed to be a stay-at-home mom. I got married. I started having babies. I dropped out of college. I never had a career. My only jobs that I ever had in life were a waitress at the Olive Garden and managing a pretzel maker in a mall. Oh, my first couple years of marriage, I decided that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, so I bought a windshield business. I was 20. And my Mormon stake president reminded me that women weren't supposed to work, so I quit my own business, handed it over to my husband, took my name off of it. I would work our family business throughout the next 24 years of my marriage, but I never got paid. I didn't have a salary. My name wasn't on it. I literally worked for room and board. That's it. I would eventually also launch a custom home building company with my uncle as the architect and my friends as the builder, my designs, my realtor. But again, because my husband was the man, his name was on all of the projects, his name was on the business. I remember one of the last custom homes that I built, we sold it and made about a $260,000 profit. That money all went into his bank account. I didn't even have a bank account. I should have said that in the beginning. So I found myself divorced at age 44, just 5 years ago. And within just a few months, I was living in my car while he made about $250,000. He would eventually quit that job so that he wouldn't have to pay alimony and child support. He has only paid alimony one time ever in the 5 years since we've been divorced. I never realized that him liking me or not liking me or finding me sexy or attractive or interesting determined whether or not my children could eat.
It's tragic, honestly, and this is the exact reason why you should never rely and completely depend your entire existence on just one person. Like, where have we heard of people relying on somebody for food? Literal children or prisoners. It is why financial independence is of the utmost importance for anybody and everybody to have. It's why there's a huge toxic side of the trad wife life influencer game, because it's only just that, a game that's designed for these people to win because they're smart. They're setting themselves up with a safety net by selling an ideology to teenage girls that's gonna set them up for failure in the future, but they've already cashed out. They're good. It's not just this woman though. This isn't just an isolated incident. When you wasted your late teens and 20s being the perfect trad wife just to end up a single mum trying to support 3 kids on $18 an hour. When you baked all the bread from scratch, gave birth to 4 kids unmedicated, just the perfect little trad wife, and now he's living with another woman. And a lot of these influencers like to cope and say, my husband is never gonna leave me. Your husband is never gonna leave you. And it's like, yes, while that may be the truth, you just never know what's gonna happen. You really don't. And that's why I say it is dangerous to rely on just one person for your entire existence. Because people always say, it'll never be me. It'll never be me. And then once it happens, they are Imagine this, the trad wife life didn't work out. You have a 10-year gap in your resume, 4 kids that need to be taken care of, while he is off living with another woman. So now you're at the food stamps office trying to see when your application will be approved. And that's where we're going to leave everything, everybody. If you have any stories, please comment them down in the comment section below. Yappersville is a comfy space for everybody. That's how we do it here. Take care of yourselves and most of all, love your fucking selves.